Hello, I'm William Tolson. I'm a gospel recording artist. I'm a father, carpenter by trade. I worked at the railroad for almost 40 years, been retired for 11, and God has really been good to me. He's allowed me to pursue my ministry, my calling in music. Well, I was born in the church, and the church I attended, Apostolic Faith Church of the Lord Jesus Christ, we've always had musicians, very good musicians, and as I come up, I would listen to them, and we've always had guitar players, and I just gravitated to the guitar to the point where I pretty much was gifted in learning, play by no notes. Everything I play is by ear. And pretty much that's how I got interested, by hearing and listening to others. Well, actually, coming up in the church, it actually kept me grounded, I believe. It kept me out and away from a lot of temptations that no doubt I could have gotten into, but being raised and knowing the Lord and His will and His desire, I pretty much adhered or tried to adhere to that to the best of my ability. My parents were very faithful in taking us to church. We would go to church on Wednesday nights, Friday nights, all day on Sunday. And I just came up in a church atmosphere. And I believe that's what has kept me up until this time in my life. When I played the guitar, in the church, there was a brother, Tyrone Chase. And I loved the way that brother would play that guitar. Had another brother, Paul Simmons. He played very well. That's on the church side. But if I have to be honest about it, you always have this other area that you hear people playing. And I pretty much kind of was interested in how James Brown, guitar player, how he played. And so those were some of the influences that kind of caught my ear as I was coming up. I started trying to play the guitar when I was around 9 years old. I started playing in the church when I was 14. And once I started playing in the church, I never looked back. I remember when I would play, I would always sit to the front of the church and hold my head down. And we had this older deacon named Deacon George Adams. And he would say, "Son, hold your head up. You playing for the Lord." And I grew out of that and I held my head up and I stayed the course. And I'm still here today. And I'm so grateful for that. Well, early on, I was only playing in the church. I hadn't quite gotten to the stage of or really interested in like recording at that point till I got up maybe around my 20s, something like that, when I started focusing on recording. Yeah, I just pretty much played in the church. I did not be off to play in any other genre but gospel. And that's where I am today still. I really think it was the way I was raised. At the same time, I was enjoying playing in the church. And realizing that I had a gift to be able to hear and not know notes, it sort of intrigued me. And I realized God had given me that gift. So I just felt like I should just give it back to him. I've had so many offers to go other places and play, but I've just tried to stay the course, because one scripture that I lean on a lot of time is when it says you can't serve two masters. You either serve one, hate the other. So yeah, I believe if God gave me the gift, I should give it back to him. And that's what I've tried to do, in spite of being and having so many offers to go out and play in other genres. Even till the day I get those invitations. But I'm very comfortable where I am. Gospel music means to me is a close encounter with God. When you sing gospel music, those words can encourage you, they can uplift you, they can bring you out of a dark place. You understand what God has done, what he's doing, and what he's going to do. So gospel music registers down into my soul. It keeps me grounded. So that's what I love about gospel music. When I first found interest in playing the guitar, my first guitar, my father bought me from Western Auto. It was an acoustic guitar. And I started fumbling with that. And I come to realize it wasn't the real deal to me. I needed something with some amplification to it. So ventured out and bought me an electric guitar. But my father, he knew that I had an interest. He never hesitated, never tried to hold me back. And I think he really enjoyed and he really was impressed of how I took the ability or got the ability to play the guitar. I remember a brother came to me one time years ago. He told me, say, your father is really proud of you. And in spite of he might not have ever told me that personally himself, he would tell me that my father is really proud and say, I did not know that boy could play that guitar like that. So, you know, we had a large family and we had one of these station wagons where the back seat faced the back of the car. And we had a little space between the back seat and the middle seat. And I would put my guitar in between my amplifier and that middle seat, and we sit on that back seat and I ride on the church. And I was just loving it. And I knew my dad and mom was loving it too. But it was just a beautiful progression. My parents, man, they always kept me in, and I just loved it. I just loved it.
So while y'all was growing up, did y'all have family time where y'all would sit around and play, sing and stuff like that?
No, we did not. No, we didn't. The interesting thing about my journey to get in playing music, coming up, I guess when I was home, I would play mostly upstairs in my bedroom. because I had this little phonograph box, look like a little suitcase, and you lift the top up, you put a 45 on, you drop it on, and boom, there it was. So I would buy some records and I would listen to them upstairs in my bedroom, right? You know what I'm trying to tell you. So I'd put it on, and all of a sudden I hear it now. I say, oh, I already know how to play that. So those chords that they were playing, I didn't know no notes or no chords, but when I hit it, I'm like, oh, I already know how to play that. So the gift was manifesting itself, and I was just loving it. So no, we never really sat around and sang as a family and played music. I just stayed in my bedroom, played when I came to church.
Did you have people your age at church that you played with?
Yeah. When I was coming up, like I say, Brother Tyrone Chase, he was a few years older than I, and I sat in with him for a little while. And then we had Ray Evans. He was playing the bass. Brother Michael Gray was playing the drums. We were all in the same age category. And then over a period of time, I had my brother Mikey. He took up the bass guitar. He started playing. So for the most part, as I moved into pretty much what we'll call the noticeable lead place of musician in the church, I've had those playing with me. Yeah, I've been grateful to have that. Still grateful today. Of course, family is very important. And when you're a musician, you have to be able to balance that with family. As I said, I pretty much played in the church, so I wasn't committed to other engagements and such, like when raising my family. But we did have a lot going on at church at the time. And one good thing about me coming up, I think that helped me to progress, is the Lord allowed me to have a great support system in the house. And we were both on the same page. We both had the same goals. So it was not a struggle to pursue playing my music. We, went to the same church. I would work because I've always worked. And when I get off, sometime I come home just enough time to take my food and eat on the way to church. So that's the support system that the Lord allowed me to have, allowed me to pursue without interruptions and misunderstandings. I always thought and sort of kind of wanted my oldest son to play the guitar, William III. And so I remember going out, buying him a little child guitar. He was probably about 4, 5. And he took it. It was a right-hand guitar, but he always played it with his left hand. And so I didn't know how that was going to work out. But me wanting him or thinking maybe he would play the guitar, I couldn't find out he really didn't have that interest. Somewhere along the line, he wanted to play drums. So I would hear him going around through the house hitting on pots and pans. And I'm like, he has a pretty good rhythm to be so young. So I went and I said, look, I'm not going to buy him a whole set right now because he might change from the drum and want to play something else. So I bought him a snare drum, a bass drum, and one cymbal. And he was in, I believe he was in the kindergarten. Because I brought it in the house and set it up. And he came home from school. He walked in the house and saw it set up. And his eyes just lit up. And he got on that few pieces of drums. And I was impressed of how he played at that age. So I become to realize that that was his gift, because as he was playing, he was doing very well. But I never forced any of my kids to play instruments, or I think that's the only time I had a desire to say, okay, I like him play the guitar. I guess because I did. But yeah, that's how it was. I never forced him or tried to make him play. Yeah, but Billy had the gift. He had the gift of playing drums. Yeah. I was blessed coming up. I had 4 children. William III, they called him Billy. He was the oldest. The next was Latrice. Then it was Brian, and then it was Marla. But Billy, he passed in 92. And that was a very trying time in my life for him to be taken so young. I think the only thing that got me through that time in my life is knowing that he professed to be saved. He was a wonderful young man, man. He was a wonderful young man. And I remember when we used to play together, it's like the way he played sparked me. It gave me that extra boost. So there was definitely a connection between father and son. But I just had to feel like the Lord makes no mistakes. And but he was a wonderful young man. He would come to church, and he was very mature for his age. Very mature for his age. He would come to church, and if he saw little children having some kind of problems, he would walk up to them. He would take them in the nursery of the church and sit them down and talk to them. And he was so much beyond his age. So he was a wonderful young man. Then my daughter Latrice, she grew up to be a wonderful young lady. She's a nurse, a wonderful nurse. She's a traveling nurse. She's married. Then my son Brian, he's in security. Then he also got his own business. And then my daughter Marla, she's a professional graphic designer, and she does beautiful work. So I've been blessed to have 4 wonderful children in my life. And sometime when I talk to my son Brian, every time I talk to him, I say, "Where you?" He said, "I'm at work." I said, "Brian, why you work so much?" He said, "I'm trying to be like you." So they all work hard, and I have no trouble out of them. So I've been a blessed father to have 4 wonderful kids. And then, as I said earlier, my wife was a beautiful lady, and she was a great support. And I think that was one of the main factors of how I could progress and maneuver in perfecting my gift, because the Bible tells us to make your calling and election sure. And that's one thing that I know what my calling is, without a doubt. I remember as I was coming up in the church, and most of the time I focused on my guitar and pretty much not much else. And the Lord allowed me to find a wonderful wife, my children's mother. She was Janice Rice. And we got together and we had 25 wonderful years of marriage, 25 wonderful years. And she took sick and she passed on. And that was a trying time in my life. But I was still at a young age, and I just didn't know what I was going to do and what have you. But the Lord allowed me to find another wife. As a matter of fact, she was the daughter of our pastor, Anita Young. She was a beautiful young lady. She gave me 1 month shy of 25 years. And I just say, and I'm convinced, that by me being faithful to God, committed to His will and His way, not that I'm no better than nobody else, but I just have focused on doing that for the Lord, He allowed me to have wonderful support. My #1 fans. And Janice, she passed in 99. She passed in 99. And I was in a dark place. So I put together a mass choir. And that got me through that period. When I got remarried, like I say, to Anita, she gave me 24 years and 11 months, a shy of 25 years. So I believe God has placed, or He placed them in my life to allow me to perfect my gift with no problem, no struggle. We believed the same thing. Matter of fact, we were in the same church. So that made it much easier. And Anita, she had illnesses in her life, and she passed in 2025, February 2025. So, but God is good, and I'm just believing that He's going to continue to bless me however He will. But my first goal is to please God and do what He will have me to do. And He'll take me through however He decides to bless me from here on out. He's always given me what I needed, and I believe He will continue to give me what I need if I try to stay faithful to Him. I would say to them that God is a keeper. He's a helper. And you have to just understand that God makes no mistakes. We feel like sometimes, why did this happen to us? Why does that happen to us? But the scriptures tell us that He's a present help in the time of trouble. And with my struggles in life, I have come to realize that nobody could have kept me through these ups and downs but God. Nobody could have done that, because there's so many times I could have just taken a different road, taken a different avenue. But I've been blessed to hold on to the scripture that says, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And I've just been blessed to do that. Going back just a little bit, I know my first wife passed. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just didn't know. I was a lost brother. But God allowed me, he helped me to stay the course. And to me, that's amazing, because when you have these struggles in your life, you got to know the Lord. You got to pray. You got to say, Lord, help me. And he will. If you're sincere about it, he will help you carry you through, because the enemy's not going to help you, because the Bible said the devil come to steal, kill, and destroy. His job is to take you right on out. But knowing God, get to know God, because that's going to be your only survival mode right there, is knowing God. He said he will never forsake you, never leave you. And he's never done that to me. I've had some hard times, but he's never left me. And I've been able to hold on and continue. And I pray that I will be able to continue to do that. What I do in my church is I am the choir director. I've been the choir director of my choir since around 1972. And I'm still the choir director today. Though we had some come and some go, and we understand that people, lives change. They move away, they get married, they relocate, and we understand that. But I am still the choir director until today. Also, I am the co-chair of our trustee board. I've been co-chair for a very good while now, trying to keep the properties in the church afloat, so people will have some place to come and serve. I also took the position to renovate our church where we're sitting today. This church here was built in 1963. Matter of fact, I helped to build this church. I remember swinging from the rafters, and I was just a young man then, but I put a few nails in here, and I'm still here, and I thank God for that. So, and then I render music for the services. So I play a pretty pivotal role in the support of this church. Well, hopefully, we have my grandson, he coming up. He's playing the drums, David. We have Chris Somerville, he's playing the keyboard. His sister sings in the choir. And I try to encourage them to be committed, be dedicated. Whatever you do, keep that drive and don't be veering off, and mean what you do. And hopefully, as the scripture said, let your light shine. I try to live a light that when they look at me, they might well say, well, I would like to be over there. I would like to do that. And most of all, showing love and compassion, and always encouraging them. You did a good job. You sound really nice today. And that can hold them. So I have a passion for them, teaching them different music coordinations and things that I know. And they seem to love it. So I just try to live that light before them and encourage them to, be a part of coming to know the Lord and serving. Oh yeah, I got two nephews as well, Jimmy and Tyrone. They came up under me and they were phenomenal. Jimmy played the keyboard, James Johnson III, and then his brother Tyrone. Jimmy played the keyboard and was a good keyboard player, and then Tyrone, he played the lead guitar, and then he played the keyboard as well. And I never forget, one time Tyrone came to me and he said, Uncle Tiny, how you like what I played that time? I said, Tyrone, I said, don't get it twisted. I said, because you'll never back me in a corner. I said, I'll take one string and come right on out there. So don't ever think you're going to back me in the corner. But he's a very wonderful, humble young man. Both of them are very humble. And I think Jimmy is just top notch. Wonderful, man. He loves his Uncle Tiny. I know he does. And he's always shown me respect. And they're doing well for themselves now. They're doing well for themselves. But I just love them all. Yeah, they're doing good. Of course, the style of music has really changed. You know, you got the traditional, then you went to the contemporary, and then you have different genres. They got the gospel rap. They got the gospel go-go. So I think that you have to be sort of kind of careful of how you try to intertwine gospel in so many different genres. Because if you're not careful, you will almost confuse the world, because you get into some of the genres that were actually influenced from the world. And they said all leads to the Lord. Well, if in you feel like that leads to the Lord and that gets you there, that's where you are. But I think that you have to be kind of careful of how you engage in certain genres of music, because it can, like I say, throw some people off. And that's why I say earlier that I've pretty much tried to stay in the church and keep sort of a traditional way, but you know, everybody have their opinions and suggestions, but I've kind of tried to stay in a way that's, I guess, even keel, and not to kind of, because I know sometimes you can say, like, you know, your go-go and your rap, and we pretty much know where those come from. But that's kind of how as they say, the world turns, and they say people are always progressing. So, but I pretty much stay with the traditional flavor.
If you could play one musician or concert, live or past, who would that be?
That's a good that's a good question. You know, I can't say I really, but I would say this. I would say this for what it's worth. Oh, I said I wouldn't mind playing with B.B. King one time. I really said I really like to sit down beside him. Yes, I did. But that's just the feeling I had. Because what was surprising about him, and I saw an interview about him, he did not know how to chord. He said that. He said, I don't know how to chord. All he said, just pick. And I've looked at his documentary, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But it was just something about that he was good. He was good in what he did. And I ain't gonna say I could match him, but yeah, I would like to sit down beside him.
He came back you into a corner? Would you be able to come out?
I take a string and I try to come right on out there. I take one string and wind that string. But I would say this though, you know, I'm very humble in my my ability, and my wife would always tell me, she said, William, you need to listen to what people tell you. She said, because what they're telling you is what they hear, and you don't hear what they hear. And I just gone back and said, what did I do? What did I do? But it was interesting. I say God done blessed me, but I just keep it low key. And I think that's why I've been able to progress like I have, it because of my humbleness. I think that's what kept me grounded. So, well, unbeknownst to me, as I progressed in playing the guitar, I listened to different sounds, and not really knowing what I was doing, I went to a store called Venom Music in Springfield, Virginia. This was in 1978. And they had the guitars lined up, they're so beautiful, and the lights were just hitting it just right. So I walked on down and I saw one that just took me. And it was an ES335 Sunburst. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And at that time, that thing was $700. And back in 1978, $700 was a lot of money. Matter of fact, I still got the check. And so I got the guitar, and I left, loved it, played it for years. And not really knowing that that was known as one of Gibson's top manufactured guitars that they made, the ES335. As a matter of fact, B.B. King had the ES335, but he had his custom to his likeness. So I was fortunate to get that, not knowing what I really had, but I was blessed coming up. As time went on, I had a few other guitars in between that. And then I walked in Washington Music Center up on Georgia Avenue one day. And I went in the back room where they had all these nice guitars. And I saw these big fat guitars. And I say, wow, I would love to have me one of them. So I asked the guy, this was back in around probably like 2003, back then. And I said, how much is an L5? He said $10,000. I knew I couldn't afford no $10,000 guitar. So I just politely just took it and moved on. And so I say, well, I'm gonna get me an L5. So years went on. So I said, I'm gonna trade my ES335 in for an L5. So I went back up there. So I said, do you all still have any L5s? He said, no, we no longer have them. You gotta have them made. I said, well, how much are they? He said, they $20,000 now. I'm like, $20,000? He said, yes, and you got to have them made. So I had my 335 and I set it on the counter. I opened up the case, and I'll never forget, the guy name was Paul. He looked at it, he said, man, don't get rid of this. He said, this 335 worth some money. And on the back of the neck, like right here, it was warm. He said, you see that right there? He said, it's called sweetwear. He said, you've been playing that. That's called sweetwear. He started calling guys from around the store. He said, come here, man, look, come here, look. And he showed him the 335. He said, bruh, don't get rid of that. I'm like, oh Lord, what I'm gonna go do now? So took it on back home. I still got it in the case. I don't even play it now, but it's valuable. And so I said, I'm gonna give me an L5. So time went on, and I went to a store in Annapolis called Garrett Park Guitars, and walked in there, asked the guy, say, do you have any L5s? He said, no. I said, do you have any used ones? He said, no, we just got rid of our last one, I think like 2 weeks ago. I said, oh, wow. So he said, is that what you want? I said, yeah, man, I'd like to give me an L5. So he said, come on back in my office. Walked in his office. He sat down at his computer. And I sat behind him. He was at his computer right there. He pulled up the Gibson website, the same website that I had been checking things on. And he said, this what you talking about? I said, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I said, how much can you get one of those for? That man told me, he said, about $5,000. Look at God. See? God been good to me. He said $5,000. So, I said, well, I didn't tell him that I had done my homework and knew what they cost. I said, well, how much you had to put down? He said, whatever you want, whatever you want. So I called my wife and told her, and she said, go ahead and get it, go ahead and get it. She said, go ahead and get it, go ahead and get it. So I put down, I think, $1,500. And so I say, well, how long would it take to get it? He said, it's going to take about 7 or 8 months. I said, okay. I said, okay, no problem. So we made the transaction. And I asked him, I said, well, how can you get it for that price? I still didn't let on to him as far as what I know. I said, how can you get it for that price? He said, I'm one of Gibson's #1 salesmen on the East Coast. And he took me in a room, and he had all these guitars that Gibson don't make no more. And they had a hefty price on them. He had like about 10 or 12 of them. And I'm like, okay. So I went to another store, and I started inquiring to this guy that I know very well at another music store. And I asked him how much could he get an L5 for? And he told me. And I said, well, I think I can get it a bit cheaper than that. He said, if you can, I'd be surprised. So he said, now, if you do, you make sure it's real. He said, you can tell if it's real by looking at the neck. And I said, okay. So I got it. When I got it, I took it down to him. He looked at it, he said, Bill, that's the real deal right there. That's the real deal. So be faithful and standing still and be committed to God. From $20,000 down to $5,000, nobody but God. Nobody but God. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And I go places. So I go places. So I go some places, and when I take it, right, people be looking. I remember I went to North Carolina one year at a gospel classic with Luther Barnes. And behind your stage, you had all the quartets, and they had the guitars and stuff waiting to go out. And you ought to seen the guys coming to me and say, they would say, look, man, look. So they come to me and say, can I touch it? I say, man, go ahead and touch it. Just go ahead and touch it. But I stay humble because I know how God has kept me and how He's blessed me. So I got two of Gibson's most notable guitars, the ES335 and the L5. And I love it. Yeah. So I'm loving it. You know, I can't say I prefer, but they do have a different sound. The L5, you can get a warmer sound. you can get a nice soft sound from the 335, not as warm as this, but the 335 gives you a little higher pitches too. But for what they offer, I can't say I prefer one over the other. I just love both of them. I just love both of them. Yeah. There's a song I like, man. I really like that song. What's that song? I mean, it's a known song. What's the name of the song? Some folk would rather have houses and land. Some folks choose silver and gold. I decided to make Jesus my choice. Yeah, I love that song. You want to hear it? Some folk would rather have houses and land. Some folk choose silver and gold, but these things they treasure and forget about their soul. But I've decided to make Jesus my choice. You know why? Sometimes the road gets rough and the going gets tough and the hills are hard to climb. I started out long time ago. There is no doubt in my mind. I decided to make Jesus my choice, Lord, my choice. I decided to make Jesus my Lord, my choice. When I sing, I really want them to listen to the words that I'm projecting. Hopefully they can grab upon understanding that God is a viable need. They will come to the Lord. And I just hope that they can enjoy the sound. They can feel what I'm playing. And just know that I'm doing it from my heart. And to some degree, it can impact them in some way. Where they're going through sickness. I have a little story, if I may. This was years ago. I think it was right after. Yeah, it was after Janice passed in '99. I was sitting in my bed one night and I was opening up my mail. And I got this letter. It was from a couple in Kansas City, Missouri. And they said, good evening, Brother Tolson. We got your CD, and it was my instrumental CD called Expressions. And they said we lost our 2-month-old son, and we were in a deep state of depression, and we just seemed like we could not come out. And we got your CD, and we listened to it, and it brought us out of our depression. And that right there, to me, brought a sense of gratification, knowing that what I've done had brought somebody out. Because when I was recording it, I didn't think that's how it was going to impact somebody. But to bring them out of a state of depression, that really made you feel like you were doing something really good for the Lord, you know. So I've always said I wish I could meet them, and that's been years ago. And you never know, one day I might come across them. And I've had many other different experiences of people telling me how they have overcome. And I've had people to reach out to me from across the country trying to find me because they've heard me play, they've heard me sing, and they were just inspired by what I have put out. I've done a couple 45s with when we had our group was the Harmonizing Five, and that's when they was doing 45s back then. And I wrote a number of songs, and I still have a master of songs that we did that we never even printed. I still got that master, songs that I wrote. I have a couple of 45s that we did print, and I don't have anything to play them on now, but I still have those. And they're beautiful songs, and people love them. I got one now that I got back up, and people are saying you should put that out because that seemed like it's a time for that. So I'm just trying to see how things will move, and let a few people hear it, and you never know, it could get out there and help somebody. But yeah, I've done the 45s, and I've also got cassettes. A lot of young people don't know what cassettes are now. Then I moved on into the CDs, and I've got about 7 CDs out. That's including my choir, my instrumentals. So I have what you call a little repertoire of songs, and people seem to love them, as they say. So I'm encouraged behind that. Oh yeah. What I remember, I went to a funeral one night. It was Margot Plater, phenomenal singer. And my intent and purpose was to go to the wake and leave to go to our Friday night service. So when I got there, it was like something held me there, and I didn't leave. So after the service, a bishop came to me, and he said, "Brother Tolson, do you have a degree?" I said, "No. I never been to college." I said, "What kind of degree?" He said, "Any kind of degree." I said, "No, I didn't go to college. I don't have no degree." He said, "Well, I'm gonna get you a degree." He said, "Because we've been watching you a long time." And I said, "Well, how are you gonna do that?" He said, "Well, don't worry about it. I'm gonna give you a call in 2 weeks. Tell you what I need you to do." So he called, told me to get all my awards and all my involvements and stuff. And my wife, Anita, she went to the house, and I didn't realize I had done so much. She got so much, and she put it all together, sent it to him. And he belongs to a seminary, and they have a graduation every year. And it was in Evansville, Indiana. So he flew me out. They flew us out. It was a nice jet. When a big, it was a jet. I'm gonna tell you, yeah, my head didn't swell up. I wore my hat out and wore it back, but it was impressive. It was impressive. And so I got out there, and they were recognizing the graduates from the school, and then had a few doctorates that they were giving out. And so when they called my name, I went up and they read my bio, and my wife Anita, she said, "William, when they were reading your bio, you ought to see. Matter of fact, Dietrich Haddon's father was the one that did, whatever you call it, put my scroll on and everything. His father was the one that did that. I didn't know that it was Dietrich Haddon's father. And my wife said, you ought to see him looking like, as I say, who is this guy? You know, who is this guy? So that went on, and one thing about it that I was impressed is me and my wife flew out. Anita flew out, and when we got up to the top of the escalators, getting ready to go into the hall, my children was coming up the escalator. They flew out and they surprised us, and David was with them. That was something else, I'm going to try to tell you. So it just showed me the care that they had for their father and the love they had for their father. They didn't tell me they was coming, but they came out. So yeah, that's how I got that honorary doctorate degree. And because they say, you know, we've been watching you for a long time, and we think that it's time that you be honored in such way. And I look at it as, in all my plan for the Lord, it never dawned on me that I was going after a degree. I was just doing what I do for the Lord. And then boom, here it is. And now people call me Dr. Tolson. I'll take it. In the name of Jesus, I'll take it. Yeah, I've been blessed, man. I've been a blessed man. So that's how I got the honorary doctorate degree. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then I got the song in the hymn book. I got that. That was a blast there. Yeah. Another accolade that the Lord bestowed upon me is I had a guy, Mr. Philip Carter, very renowned engineer, music producer, and he sent out a request. He's trying to introduce hymns back to the church, and he said, if you have a song that you would like to present that you feel fit in the hymns category. So I sent him 2 songs. I sent him Lord We Praise You, and I believe a song I wrote called Bring a Praise. So he called me and he says, Mr. Tolson, you got something here, sir. I said, what's that? He said, Lord We Praise You. He said, that song ain't nothing but the truth. It's simple, but it's the truth. I said, thank you, Phil. So he says, I might record that. I said, for real? He said, I might record that. So he had a live recording, I believe it was back in, was it in May? I think it was around the end of May. He did a live recording over in Temple Hills, Maryland. And I still didn't know whether he had decided to record my song. He had his own choir, his own musicians, everything. So I called him that Friday just to ask him a question. And when I called him, he said, oh, by the way, I'm going to record your song. I said, for real? He said, yeah, I'm going to record that. And so we went on that Saturday, and they brought the song to life. The spirit was so high during that song. People were running. A man got up out of a wheelchair. Phil Carter started running, and the house was on fire. After that, one of the other artists that he recorded their song, he came to me, he said, Mr. Tolson, you know your song was the song of the night, right? I said, nah. I said, all the songs was good. But in reality, he saw something that he kind of acknowledged. So Phil not only recorded my song, which that's supposed to come out this month. He did a compilation album. It's supposed to come out this month, and I'm excited to hear it. So he asked me, was any of my music scored? I said, no, none of my music scored. So he said, I'm going to have it scored. He had it scored, to sheet music. And he got a hymn book that he put out with the recording. And my song is in the hymn book. And they're for sale. And if you want one, I can tell you how to get one. Just call me, and I'll be glad to tell you how you can get one. And it was amazing because as the service dismissed, the people that came to me and said, I'm going to teach this to my choir on Sunday. I'm taking this back to New York with me. So the Lord had bestowed so many blessings upon me, and I'm just so grateful for it. I never thought and never sought out getting the degree. I never sought out about getting a hymn book. I never sought out about getting my music scored. But the Lord has done things in his time. And he's proven to me that if I stay faithful, what he will do for me. And I say that I didn't go to school for it. And sometimes it just amazes me. I have nothing against a person going to school for a degree, not at all. But when God just lays something on you, you know it's got to be his will. And he promised to do this. He said, your gift will make room for you. Yeah. I've been out there. I've done TBN recordings on TBN. A lot of different places, but I've stayed committed, and staying committed, I still made a mark, and God did that. God did that. God did that. Yeah, and if I may say, a good friend, Luther Barnes, we went down. He has a gospel fall classic every year. He still has it. And the choir went down in 2000, I believe around 2006 we went down. And we went a couple of years afterwards. And I wrote a song called Lord, We Praise You. And so we sang. And see, we didn't have no keyboard then. All I had was the guitar and bass and drums. And when we got up to sing that song, my wife said, William, you should have seen the reaction of the church when you first saw it. Dun, 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 dun. She said the whole church looked like they jumped up, and it was a sight to see. But I couldn't see behind me. So afterwards, Luther come to me. He said, Brother Tolson, where y'all from? And he was a very humble dude, man. And his daughter was there. And the accolades that they gave me, it was like, you know what? They didn't have to do that because they are legends. They didn't have to do that. But they seemed to have noticed the gift that I had. And Luther Barnes, I never forget what he told me. He said, Brother Tolson, wherever you go, have your guitar with you. So I appreciated that. And we keep in touch. He liked another song that I wrote called Never Let Go. And I was singing that one year down there. And when I was walking off stage, he called me backstage, Brother Tolson, come back, Brother Tolson. And he started singing it. Robert for the gospel keynotes, he started singing it. Then you had two other guys singing it. And so it made a little impact. They noticed it. And I just thank God for that. And I just try to stay humble in doing it. So, yeah. So those are the things that God has done for me in my music journey. Well, as I said earlier, I'm glad that I have been able to stay humble. I believe that's why, God has elevated me such as he have. One thing I get all the time, I could be out in a store and people walk up to me like, they wanted to say this like, I said, who, me? They said, yeah, you. I said, yeah, I play the guitar. But I hear all the time that you make that guitar talk. They say, when you play, it just sounds like the words are coming off the strings. Well, maybe I don't hear that like they do. I remember one time I was at a music store in DC, and the guy was playing gospel music, and I say, how do you get it? He said, well, I just take it, somebody give it to me. I gave him one. He played, he said, watch this. He played it on the intercom. And I sold, right at that time, I sold over $200 worth of music just in that short period of time. So it has made an impression, but I stay humble when they give me accolades, I stay humble. It doesn't swell my head up. I think to the point where I got it no longer than a couple of weeks ago. Somebody say, why didn't you get down on that guitar like I know you can? But I have this thing that I don't want to come across like I'm showing off, or I don't want to impress somebody. People say, you're not showing off. Just let it go. Just let it go. So maybe I get to that point. Maybe I get to that point. You know, just let it go. Well, I just play. I mean, because I know when I play, I feel my hand like hitting that, like, I'm like, it goes something like, so it's kind of I can't explain it. And then I was at the studio one time, and this guy, the engineer told me, they said, me and the keyboard player was trying to figure your sound out. And he said the only thing we could come up with was fusion. He said, because when you play, he said, we hear all of those sounds in there. But sometimes what you would do, you will go to the door, but you won't cross over. They say we hear a little blues in there. We hear a little R&B. We hear the gospel. We hear the country. All of it is mixed up, but you're able to hold it into that one perspective, but that sound is there. And another guy told me one time, he said, man, he said, you got a sound. He was in Safeway. He said, hey man, you the man play the guitar, right? I said, yeah. He said, man, there's something about your sound. And he started talking about the second and the I forget all these words he was using. He said, but what I noticed about you, he said, you will play a chord, and it's like you would add a finger to that note to make it a total different chord. He said, that's different. But see, I don't get it. And then I got so many stories, but like I said, I stay humble behind it. I was at a funeral one day, and I was directing the choir, my back to the audience, and this guy said it was a music major sitting in the audience. And say after the service, the music major told him, say, well, I couldn't figure out what that guy was doing on that guitar. I wish he had turned around so I could see his hands, because musically I couldn't figure it out. I didn't get it. Then I was talking to another guy one day. He said, Brother Tolson, he said, I know music. Now, I can't say this is true, but this is what he said. He said, what you play is not in the music books. I said, I don't know about that, because I'm not no music. He said, let me tell you something. I study music, and what you play is not in music books. I left it alone, but I just thank God for my gift. But I got to stay humble and show humility. And it's gotten me a long ways. It's gotten me a long ways. I guess, to leave the perspective that I was dedicated, committed to what I was doing. And I found out that that's essential in moving forward. And that I can say that I would like for those that come behind me find me faithful or found me faithful. And if I can leave that, then I think I've accomplished what God has appointed me to do. Once in a while, we were playing and moving, I hit a little note, and people, you know, some might know it, because Deacon Ray always said, a note is a note. And I remember I was glad.
Where does that come from?
That comes from James Brown, guitar player.
And you spoke about that guitar player earlier.
I did, didn't I?
A big influence on your style and how you played and what you heard and infusion of all of that stuff.
And I'm like, I know how to do that, so yeah. And then and I can do it, but I try to stay in my lane. And a song, you throw that in there. You know that? So those things that you know, you gotta know where to draw the line. And then when you playing, once in a while you slip them in there. You slip on up in there. Oh.
Since you did both, quartet, jazz, instrumental, choir,
yeah.
all that stuff, which one do you prefer?
Well, I like them all, but I tell you what, I really like getting down on that quartet. Yeah, I like that. I like that hard hit. Yeah, I like that hard hit. But you know, I like it all. But yeah, I like that drive.
What's the drive? Show us what the drive.
I like that lock. That's it.
Now for quartet, do you prefer the 335 body style or Strat?
I use 335.
I know you use the 335. Which one you think gives a more quartet sound?
I think the Strat
Okay.
gives a yeah.
That Strat cuts through a lot.
As a matter of fact, I just bought me a Strat. Haven't played it yet. See, all my collections are hollow bodies. And
few weeks ago, I said, you know what? I need me a solid body. I ain't got nothing else to do.
You have that one here?
I do.
Oh, let's see that one.
I do. So I went to the store and bought me a strap. Never played it yet. Never played it yet. But I will. I will. Matter of fact, it's right here. It's right here. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I noticed that's the sunburst too.
Yeah.
Go back to the 35 sunburst
I
vibe.
kind of favor those sunbursts.
Those are classic.
I mean,
So you never played out in the open with it.
no.
And this is amazing because most people start out with a strap.
Exactly. Is it? Yeah. Is it? That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Smooth. Smooth.
Huh?
That was smooth. That was smooth.
You had a little one finger I put in there? That's it. Yeah, yeah. That's what that guy said. You'll put a finger up in there. And then see, I take the same cord, instead of putting that finger right there, I say, what's that? I said, oh my God, that put on fire. Just put a finger anywhere. And sometimes I go in there and hit it and say, oh, it ain't working. I come up real quick.
Slide into it.
Just slide it. Yeah, I slide into it a lot, but I tell you. Somebody said, do that, what you do it? Man, I can't remember what I did. My bride told me, said, Dad, he said, at the Nita's funeral. And I got a lot of compliments, but he said, Dad, you played that guitar, man. He said, but the thing about you, Dad, you play like that and you walk off like you ain't done nothing. I got behind the curtain, the guy said, man, that was so crystal clear. I ain't never heard a guitar play that clean. But those are just the way people hear me, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
actually looks just like Tyrone's first guitar.
Is that? I got to get used to this.
So even with that guitar, I noticed that you made it sound more warmer than it tends to do with the pickups and the switch.
I'm just used to that warm sound. But it can go high though. See? Yeah. Yeah, it can go pretty high. The way you set your settings.
That's cool. So if you didn't pick up a guitar,
Huh?
if you hadn't picked up a guitar
Okay.
so many moons ago,
Yeah.
who would William Tolson be today?
Oh my goodness, who would he be? I have I have no idea. I would hope I was at least be a praiser. At least a praiser to be able to enjoy somebody else, but you know, I guess God just bestowed that and trusted it into me. But yeah. I mean, see, like I said, accolades, man, are so vast until I can't half remember, and I don't act like I get them. You know, I was playing at a funeral one day. My cousin asked me if I would play at her funeral, so I played. I wouldn't play the instrumental, and so after I played, I walked out and put my guitar back in the car. I came back in, walked up in the balcony, and sat down beside a lady and her husband. And she said, "Sir, I just told my husband, that's how you play a guitar." And then as they was leaving out, the funeral director said, "Excuse me, sir, come in." I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Where you from?" I said, "D.C." He said, No. Where your home at?" I said, "Washington, D.C., born and raised." He said, "Don't nobody play a guitar like from D.C." He said, "You got to be from the South, the way you play that guitar. Man, you had that thing talking, but I just don't get it. You know, just don't hear it like other people hear it, you know." So I'm blessed in that way. At the funeral, people were asking me, "Sir, you got any CDs?" And I didn't come on purpose to sell no CDs at the funeral. And lady said, "If you had CDs, you could have sold out." So I went to the repast. And that's my opportunity. And whether you leave it on or not, I sold over $300 worth of CDs at that repast. She said, "If you had them at the funeral." And my cousin said, "Yeah, you could have told people about the CDs, but that's not your purpose to go sell." I respected that. But the Lord made a way. Yeah, he made a way. But, well, you know, I've always been low key. I've always seemed to have, so it kind of stayed to myself. I could relate to people, but I wouldn't just go in. I've always stayed at a cautious distance. Well, I don't know if I would have told myself, well, maybe you need to be a little more assertive. You need to go in a little more. I just really don't know what I would have changed, because you know, my life had been so blessed, man, so blessed, and I can't say it's nothing I really want to change. or really sought to change, because when I know how blessed like I have, I'm just content. I'm content. I'm content. So what I would tell my younger self is, stay on the road you're on. Stay on the road you're on. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, stay on the road you're on.
So you got all the questions, all the answers I had for
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been fortunate to, work at the railroad for 39 years and 7 months. And I've been retired for 11 years. So I was blessed in doing that. I came out of school wanting to be a carpenter. And as I started doing that, I found out that they would lay you off when the contract ended. And I had a family. I couldn't get laid off. So I never forget Deacon Hickman, one of the eldest deacons in our church at the time. He came to me and said, "You want a job at the railroad?" I said, "I guess." Went down there and got hired. Stayed there for 39 years and 7 months. And I was blessed, because not really knowing that the railroad was one of the best jobs that you could have had. And benefits are wonderful. And I've been retired for 11 years, and God is still blessing me in that, retirement. So I have realized that staying with God is my Savior, is my salvation. Someone said, "Where can I go but to the Lord?"